Hi. Throughout the years that I've been mentoring women, I've had women come to me and tell me that they're not happy in their marriage. Some are even thinking of separating. Many women have divorced their husbands over this issue. They don't believe their husbands are meeting their emotional needs. And what is the root of that? They're not loving them like they want to be loved. Maybe their husbands aren't the romantic, affectionate type, but they work hard to provide for their families. They're faithful to their wives. They come home every night. They love their children. But those husbands aren't meeting their emotional needs of romance and affection. I was like that when I was young. I didn't see my husband working hard to provide for me, being faithful, being an incredible father, is loving me. I wanted him to love me the way I wanted him to love me. And looking back, I don't even know what that meant. I don't really care about flowers, and I'm not an overly affectionate person. And I don't know, it's just, we set these unrealistic expectations. And if our husbands don't meet those, we become bitter, angry, critical, discontent, and we tear our marriages down. Many women are responsible for this. Now, if you read the 5 Love Languages book that I made the video about yesterday, and you only read it solely so you can understand your husband's love language, because you want to love him in the way your husband wants to be loved, then that is wonderful, because we are to please each other. But if you read it and based on that book, you decided what your love language was, and you saw how short your husband fell in meeting your love language or your emotional needs, that's what it really is, then you become angry and upset. And that's what's been so destructive, because there's nothing in the Bible about expecting your husband to meet your emotional needs or loving you the way you think that he should love you. If he's obeying God and working hard to provide, being faithful to you, loving your children, coming home every night, he's loving you. Accept that. The secret, women, isn't to expect your husband to meet your emotional needs, which are fluctuating day by day, up and down. They change with your hormones. We can't even meet our emotional needs, And the best thing to do with your emotions is to take them into captivity to Christ by taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. Whenever you have a negative, critical thought about your husband, like, oh, I wish he was more romantic, say, no, I'm so thankful for what he does and what a great husband he is. Focus on the good and the true. Stop these vain imaginations the Bible warns us about. Women are great at having vain imaginations. From Hollywood has put those in our mind from the time we were little. Prince Charming comes along and sweeps us off our feet. We have butterflies and, and we're swept away in this passion. And that's just not realistic. Feelings come and go. Passion comes and goes. It's nothing to build a marriage upon. But the steady, day by day, faithfulness, working hard, loving you as he knows how to love you, that's what builds a strong marriage. And you being content and thankful and kicking critical thoughts out and building them up, never speaking evil about him to anybody, living out 1 Peter 3:1-6, having a meek and quiet spirit, not being quarrelsome and contentious. Expectations destroy relationships. They do. Expectations are beyond what God has called husbands to. And you don't get to define what him loving you as Christ loved the church looks like. Let him figure that out. Pray for him. Be the wife that God has called you to be. And you most likely will draw your husband to yourself. Many women have drawn their husbands to them by living out 1 Peter 3:1-6. Their wives become irresistible to them because they're just so loving and kind and patient, and they serve them and try to make them happy and support them. They're the helpmeet that God's created them to be. This is your role. It's not to be his Holy Spirit. It's your role to be his helpmeet, to help him in his mission, and not expect all these Hollywood fantasies, vain imaginations from him. So women, love your husband, serve him, be thankful for him, and be the wife that God calls you to be. Okay? Bye-bye.